Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? What you are about to witness is real.
This is not a dream, but a new beginning.
Stand by for uplink.
The Don Hanston Show, straight up.
Thank you.
GPS uplink now completed with Google Earth. Commencing the official countdown in 3, 2, 1.
And now your
Welcome to Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show. Along with Don, I'm Sal. Today we have a packed half hour for you. There's a lot to talk about. How you doing, Don? How's everything going over there?
Everything's going great. I kind of pulled. I don't really stay in touch with any of the news, and I really try to stay away from all the politics stuff, and just do my own thing. You know what I mean? Just be out and working on projects and exercises and exercising and just working on me. You know what I mean? Because all this stuff, I realize it doesn't matter. It's depressing. A lot of it's depressing. There's a lot of wins that's going on right now with the party that's in charge, but there's a lot of sketchy shit as well.
Definitely. We're going to talk about some of that stuff. I'm going to start out this episode with a question, Don. If you really want to bury something that's newsworthy, when do you normally do it?
When do you bury it? Well, if you're smart, if you're an intelligent person, you should bury it in the beginning, right? Before anybody uncovers it. But unfortunately, I think people think that they're never going to get caught, and they don't bury it until it starts to be discovered, until an eyeball or a eyebrow starts raising. Then all of a sudden, the burial begins.
I'm more or less speaking about like the news outlets or the political parties, because they buried something on a weekend. They come out with something on a weekend, a Sunday night, especially during the 4th of July holiday weekend. They just release this information out there because they know a lot of people in America are not paying attention because the weather's nice, it's the holiday, it's a Sunday night.
On a boat,
Everybody's
getting laid, doing something
all
fun,
kinds of stuff. So it's something that was very particular, and I'm making reference to the Epstein case. The information was put out on a weekend, especially during a holiday weekend, and I can't help but think that that was done on purpose. And now they are saying, and I know we've talked about this before, and I'm not buying this at all. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of my friends that still contact me and say, I'm just so pro-Trump. And I keep trying to tell them, I'm very much in the middle. I will be more than happy to call out anything he does that I don't like. And that's what I'm going to do today, because I'm not happy with this, and I think a lot of it is BS. Now you have hundreds of victims that, to me, will never get justice. Young people, girls, and everything will never get justice. Because now they're saying, well, Epstein did kill himself. I did see Kash Patel say that about a month ago on a different podcast, and I know I talked about it on here. But now they're saying there was no client list. I don't know if you've heard that, but that's what Pam Bondi is saying. There's no client list now. I don't believe it.
Well, it was interesting because, you know, first with the Elon Musk thing, and he's like, yeah, Trump's on that list. Well, do I think he's a molester? No. Do I think he's involved in all that stuff? No. But whatever. But he's obviously knows the people that are involved in it. Now, all of a sudden, Bondi's first Patel, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino, they're like, oh yeah, he definitely killed himself, you know, with all that bullshit. And I'm like, now I'm like, these are two guys that I trusted and I thought were great guys. Are they compromised? We talked about this in the other show. And now Pam Bondi says she had to file on the desk, which she did say. Yeah. I know that somebody made reference to there is a list, right? And all of a sudden there is no list, okay? Now, I'm like, why are they burying this? You know, there's a reason, right? So I watched a press conference with that Caroline.
Yes.
And it was short, and I did watch a one where Trump was sitting next to Pam Bondi. Okay. Yeah. Now, Caroline, what's unfortunate is I was always a Trump supporter, okay? But now I kind of changed the MP and Trump to truth supporter, okay? I'm more about truth, okay? And that's what I need. I need people to be truthful. And so now, why are you burying this stuff? Well, when Caroline was talking, right away she said there's less crime in the United States than ever reported before, and all these wins, these great deals that are going on with all these countries. Yeah, that's fine, but it was I saw it like it was a deflection, right? Now I saw Trump sitting next to Pam Bondi, and the press was asking Pam Bondi questions, and Trump chimes in and says, "Are we still talking about this creep? We got more important things, all the good things that are happening, da 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 da." And I do agree with that, but to me, that's a giant deflection. Now, like, we're looking at you like you are the truth, right, in our government, and for you to deflect, okay, the fact that the kids and people have been trafficked and abused and possibly killed and murdered, and who the hell knows? But all I know is there's 390,000 missing children. Is all that connected to Epstein? Probably not, but still, like, how do you deflect that? Like it's no big deal. Like somebody flicked a booger on a ceiling. It's not like something that's incoincidental. So I am very concerned that now, even though there's people in there and they're getting really big wins, especially compared to the last administration, but they're not being truthful, and they're backing up the scuzz bags that's the deep state. So if our new government got in saying they're going to expose the deep state, but now they're covering up for the deep state, it's really got me scratching my head. And I'm not saying I'm against Trump. What I'm saying is there's not transparency. And why are you deflecting? And please don't make this seem like it's insignificant. These are children. These are minors. This is bad stuff.
And they campaigned on that. I mean, that's what he campaigned on.
Right.
And even in the hearings, the Senate hearings to get approved, Bondi and Patel were asked about it, specifically Kash Patel. And he said, any crime against any children, my office will take very serious. Now, I feel that Kash and Pam Bondi have turned their backs on the people because it was promised. They said that. Now, she's backpedaling, saying, well, I never said there was a client list on my desk. What I meant was the paperwork is on my desk, and I had to still go through it. I'm calling BS. I'm sorry. Because there was even a quote when they said, once everything's released, the quote was, you're going to be shocked. Yeah, well, no one's being shocked right now. Why are they covering this up? And so many strange things have come out of this. Don, have you seen the picture that Epstein had in the house on the island? It is a full picture, which I've seen it, a full picture of Clinton wearing a dress sitting on a chair. Bill Clinton. It's the strangest looking thing. Now, it is reported that Bill Clinton he flew to the island 26 times. Why? Why would he fly there 26 times?
He had 26 dresses.
And there's an oil painting of him sitting in a chair with a dress on. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, even, what's her name? Melinda Gates, Bill Gates's wife, said that Bill Gates was going there quite a bit, and she hated it. She said her husband kept going to visit him, and she disliked it. She didn't like it. There's so many strange things going on, and there's a cover-up. There has to be a cover-up. Someone got to them and said, you cannot release this client list. You can't.
Like I've said in past shows, right? Were they compromised, right? Were they blackmailed? What happened? Why all of a sudden the flip? Now, did they just flip because now they're in charge and they don't have to go along with what they campaigned and try and flip the script? I mean, that was a Democratic thing. And I hate to sound like I'm anti-Trump. I'm not. I think he's done a lot of great things, but this one is a hot spot, and I think it's a hot spot for a lot of people, and a lot of people all of a sudden are not trusting this guy or the administration because they're flipping, and basically they're protecting the deep state. Now, the only thing I can come up with is that I'm hoping happened. I'm hoping it's not their integrity, is that they were compromised, right? Whether their families were threatened or somehow they were blackmailed, drugged and blackmailed. Who knows what's going on because it's so bad. But I don't like the non-transparency. I don't like the flip of the information, and I don't like them just dismissing something that was a big hot point that got him elected. To all of a sudden, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like I'm campaigning that I won't track dog shit through your house. Now I'm tracking dog shit in your house, but it's not a big deal anymore because it's not what I'm campaigning on.
And what were those binders all about? Remember, they gave certain media, the press, what was it, 3-4 months ago? And they all were outside the White House holding up these binders? Well, what the hell was that?
I don't know. I really don't know. But, you know, it's kind of funny, too. I found that there's a lot of there's a lot of people that were Democrat. I was trying to figure it out. Why there's some really smart people that I know that are Democratic voters, and I tried to figure out why. It didn't make any sense, and I think I put my finger on it, and I think that people were always Democratic voters, and they turn a blind eye to what's going on because it's too deteriorative to them to know all this stuff. So they just kind of turn a blind eye, and then, you know, maybe they hear from someone or watch on the news that, you know, Joe Biden's a nice guy or something. So they just vote for him. But I don't really think that they pay attention, because I think the people that pay attention, all of a sudden they see the truth. Now, what's the truth today and what's the truth tomorrow? It changes with these people. And if you are an aware person, you know that the truth didn't change, right? Just the lies changed.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
The facts are still the facts. We just don't know them all.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a guy who was worth $500 million, and we're expected to believe that there was one person, just one person, who was in charge of bringing the girls to the island. Really? He's worth $500 million, and that one woman, who's now sitting in prison, she was the only one in charge of bringing them there. And who were they bringing the girls there for? That's the thing that bothers me. I don't like any of this.
And now with them saying there's not a list, they're saying the only ones that molested these minors was Epstein and his girlfriend, right? And so that's basically what they're saying. Number one. Number two is I was listening to something this morning, and they said that Jeffrey Epstein, one of the officials had mentioned that Jeffrey Epstein was an agent.
Yeah, I did hear that from her.
Yeah. So, I mean, was he part of the deep state? I would believe that he is. Absolutely. I mean, that's why he, you know, it was clear that all of a sudden he really did kill himself. All of a sudden it's clear that there is no client list. All of a sudden it's clear that there's deflections and nobody wants to even look at this any longer. So, I mean, the funny thing is you don't have to know about any of this stuff. If you're aware, you don't need to know any facts. All you do is just watch people and they'll tell you what they're doing, right? And deflection, if I deflect something that you throw at me, all that's doing is taking the attention away from what you're trying to talk about, which means I'm hiding something. That's all deflection means. And if you don't understand that from an aware standpoint, then people can tell you whatever they want. But if you can understand that simple things, people will tell you what they're doing, and you don't have to speculate. You already know what's going on. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really pay attention to all of these facts that everybody else wants. You can kind of see what people are doing because they basically tell you what they're doing.
Well, there's so many facts that came out about this case, and I didn't really follow it too closely either. You know, but if you look at the body language of Dan Bongino and Kash Patel being interviewed just a couple days ago, and they're saying, oh, no, he definitely killed himself. No, he killed himself. When I look at that, the body language, from my experience, is they're lying. They're not telling the truth.
So you completely agree with what I just said?
Absolutely do. And I'm aggravated and ticked off at President Trump. I think it's terrible what he's doing with this. I do not approve of it. It's wrong. We were told there's a client list. We were told we would be shocked. We were told all of this would come out. They released the binders with no names in there, and then Pam Bondi said, well, there's a lot of files. You know how much there is to go through? And even Kash Patel was asked that on this particular podcast. Why aren't the names released yet? This is what you were promised. And he says, well, we want to make sure we protect the victims. We want to make sure we get everything right. Now all of a sudden it's like, hey, don't look over here anymore. Look over here. There's nothing there. We were told we would be shocked. Over what? Why were we told we would be shocked if there's no list? That's the thing that gets me.
Well, if you remember, I don't know how many shows ago we talked about. I think we started with the JFK, and I said the JFK file and the Epstein file, Jeffrey Epstein file. They'll say that they came out, but yet then they'll say every single page was blank except for there's some filler pages in there. And it's turning out to be true. Like all of a sudden, this big, huge deal. We're going to see this JFK, and I'm like, nothing. We're not going to see anything because all the people that are involved are the people that are running the show. You know what I mean? It's all deep state nonsense, and it's the same thing with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. And if I had a dollar for every time I could guess that they're lying, I'd be a wealthy man because they're lying all the time. And all they're doing is, and there is no information unless they give it to you. I mean, if it's on her desk, there's no information if Pam Bondi doesn't give it to you, or the right person doesn't give it to Pam Bondi, or whatever. If we don't get the information, then there is no information. So I guess realistically they're telling the truth, but they're not telling the truth because it's all hidden, because all the people that are involved are the deep state people. And it kind of shows that it's really a club.
Yeah.
The whole politic thing is a club. It's a club like George Carlin said in one of his skits, and we're not in it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We're not. I mean, I know Trump hated the guy, because Epstein was at Mar-a-Lago at the golf club, and I guess he was harassing one of the members' daughters. And it got out to Trump that day, and he booted him. He got rid of him. That's why he kicked him out of the club. I was able to find that out. But he's protecting whoever's name or whoever went there, and what did they do? It's like Clinton. Why would you go to his island 26 times? All these higher-ups with a lot of money are going to his island. Come on.
Well, think about what you just said about the Clinton thing, all right? You got an oil painting him in a dress. Yeah. There 27 times. And it's the same president that was getting blowjobs under the desk in the Oval Office by not his wife, okay? So, really? You don't think he was doing anything over there? Okay, give me a break,
It's hard to believe.
Of course he was.
They ran on transparency, and I'm just not seeing it right now. And it's really frustrating. And I guess just the higher-ups, powerful people, just made it go away, and we're supposed to just accept it. Just like we're supposed to accept that there wasn't really anything different with the JFK investigation. The drones that were flying all over for months.
Never heard another word about that.
No, Trump came out and said, "Oh, we looked into it. It was just what did he say? It was an experiment. It was
kids playing with their toys.
It was a research project, is what he said, and that was it. It was dropped.
Okay,
so it's really frustrating for me because those are things I was promised. I backed the guy completely, but now things are starting to turn back to typical politician behavior, like you said.
Bullshit. Yeah. But I will tell you, regardless of all this stuff that's going on, if you got him and Kamala going against each other, I'm voting for Trump every single time. There's no doubt about it.
A ton of wins, like you said, yes. But
ton of wins. I mean, this country is going in the right direction, but what's not happening is we're not seeing the convictions. We're not seeing the transparency, and we're not seeing the deep state go down. I think it makes me think that the deep state's even still running this thing.
Well, there's definitely people that they're protecting. There has to be names on this list. I mean, the whole cover-up thing with him killing himself, supposedly all these things lined up, and there was like a minute of video that was missing, and that's the minute where he killed himself. I mean, like we said, I could see somebody wanting to kill themselves if they're going to be convicted of this and spend the rest of their natural life in solitary in prison. But it just stinks.
Now with the no listing, it makes me believe that he's alive more than ever before.
Oh, so you think he's alive still? Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I thought that before. Remember, you're like, oh, just like Elvis.
Right.
And I know you're making fun of me. That's fine.
Having fun with you. Having fun with you.
And it's fine. No. Because it's something that most people wouldn't believe. But we didn't see the body leave the room. We never saw the body. We didn't hear about any autopsy, or we didn't see any factual reports or pictures or anything. So you know as well as I know. I mean, they could freaking put a mask on someone and haul the body out, or they could haul him out and he could still be alive, or who the hell knows?
But sheet over him like they normally do. How do you know what's in there, right?
I'm thinking that guy's still alive. I'm thinking all those people are still doing the same shit with Epstein. That's what I think. I truly believe that.
If I thought it was a little far-fetched when you first brought it up, definitely now it's very plausible. Because if you have these high-up important people that can say, do not release this client list, and Trump listens and Pam Bondi listens, why couldn't he still be alive and they have to keep that quiet? You know?
Exactly.
That's the thing. So I think it's plausible. You know, I haven't heard anybody bring that up other than you. You're the only person I heard bring that up, but I think it's a good point because, you know, once again, don't look over here. Just look over there.
Look at this video that we just released on a door that we don't even know if it's really even in the prison with nothing and nobody moving. Look at this, but don't look at us taking the guy out the back door, you know.
So I think it's very plausible what you said. I know we got about 10 minutes left, and there is so much in the news to talk about. I think in the next show I'd like to get your opinions on this alligator Alcatraz and stuff like that. So we're going to have to push that over to the next episode. But the one thing I did want to bring up was the Texas flooding. And I know you had mentioned pre-show that you're not really following the story too much. And I have to be honest, I wasn't either. But you have the left that's accusing Trump. They're blaming Trump. You know, and that's what the left does. If you remember when the levees broke, sure, you know, during Hurricane Katrina, they blamed Bush for destroying the levees and flooding everything. I mean, that's just what the Democrats, to me, what they like to do. It's the blame game. What they're doing is right. What the right is doing is completely wrong. They're blaming him.
It's the reversal.
They're blaming him, and they're saying, well, you know, the right denies climate change, and look what happened. Now you have a pediatrician that came out and said, she goes, they got what they deserved. She's a pediatrician in Houston. She says, and she worked for Bluefish Pediatrics. She said, they deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. This is a pediatrician that said that. Well, you still have like 119 people missing, and several of them are still children. She came out and said that. And that's because this started with the left coming out blaming Trump, saying that, well, the government is cloud seeding. They created the moisture. Now, I know you're an expert on that. You know a lot more of that than me. So, cloud seeding. Why are they cloud seeding in the first place? Crops? Do you know?
Well, well, a lot of it was done. Okay, it's all private contractors that do it. A lot of that was done to inspire the climate change agenda and the Green New Deal and all this other stuff. It was really a shift of wealth, just like anything else that's gone on.
So it was brought in to help prove those theories that there's climate change?
Yes. And so I mean, that's how they did the flooding, right? That's how they did the flooding in North Carolina. That's how they tried to flood out Florida. You know what I mean? Right before the election, right? It doesn't always work. It's not spot on, but yeah, this has been going on, and I don't know that it's the actual government. I think it's more the money flowing. It's the people that run the government that pay these private contractors to do all of this stuff. And the weather manipulation's been going on forever, and right now, really what it boils down to is the people that are blaming Trump right now, it's the reversal, because they know why it's happening. A lot. I'm not granting these people that they know anything.
Think the left is doing this, so in turn they're blaming Trump.
Right. I think. Right. The puppeteers were more on the Democratic side of the aisle. Okay. Right. Those were the people that they could control, because they got brain damaged people in there. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Schumer and Pelosi, and these people don't know how to tie their shoes, so they're easily controlled. So then you put people in there that actually have brains. They're not so easy to control. You can control them a little bit, but you can't control them like that. Like they'll just do something that's obviously wrong, and then they'll shift and they'll blame it on someone else. But I think that the cloud seeding and the climate, all the alterations to the climate, it's been done, and it's been going on for 60, 70 years, but now they have it down to a science. And if you notice, even the weather is so unpredictable, it changes on a dime. It can be sunny and hot, and next thing you know, the breeze comes in and it's 20 degrees colder. Next thing you know, it gets back hot and humid. Next thing you know, it rains. I mean, it's crazy. And then I didn't know anything about those floodings, and people looked at me like I was stupid. And so I watched a quick video, and there's a guy standing in, like, I don't know if it was a school or a shop or something. And all of a sudden, the door ripped off, and a tidal wave came in out of nowhere. I mean, and it just swept everything out of, and I was like, and that came out of nowhere. I think there was, so much rain in so little time that the river rose up and washed everything away. So I didn't really know about it, but all this stuff is becoming more and more prominent, that this weather is just coming out of nowhere and just killing and destroying people and land and property. And it was the same thing that happened in North Carolina. It happened in portions of Florida right before the election. I know you remember that. And now, and it wasn't always just the flooding, right? You had the earthquakes, you got the tsunamis, you had that freeze down in Texas a while back. I mean, you got all this crazy weather, and it's because they're screwing around with the atmosphere. There's whether it's cloud seeding, there's a lot of different things that they can do. And weather manipulation it's actually a weapon that they could actually use against other countries. And if you look, it's written in the law, I think in the in Europe, where you cannot use weather manipulation as an act of war. So it's obviously been around. People just aren't privy to the information.
So as we wrap things up here, what you're saying then is the Democrats have full knowledge of this, and they're trying to prove that the climate change is real and that what they've been talking about for the last 20, 25 years is legit. So you figure they would come out ahead and start blaming Trump and the right for all of this. This way it takes the attention off them and why they're doing it. Wow.
Correct.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, you probably made it a lot clearer than I did. I probably talk in circles.
No, because you got me there. I mean, you got me there, and you brought up a lot of stuff that I didn't know. I remember last year when I joined the podcast and you started talking about it, and I was pretty forthcoming in saying, I don't know if I'm buying that. I just don't know. I did watch some documentaries on it, so I know it was possible. But boy, oh boy, it seems like the stuff that keeps happening, like all the stuff you were just talking about, is all starting to line up now. And definitely something's going on. I mean, there's been a lot of flooding down south in Illinois, too. That's just insane the way it's going. And you said that the temperature, I noticed the other day, all of a sudden I went outside and it was like 20 degrees cooler out, And what happened after that? Because everybody knows high pressure, low pressure creates, precipitation. And we got rain that night. So it's very interesting that you say that. And I think that's something we should bring up again. Because, unfortunately, I don't think this is over. I think this is going to keep going on. And, of course, we pray for the victims and their families. I mean, it's just devastating. I don't know if you know this, but there was a camp, Mystic Camp, a summer camp where all these kids got washed away. And 2 sisters were found deceased, holding hands and holding a rosary. I mean, it's just god-awful. It's terrible. And that's the thing that gets me with this pediatrician coming out saying, well, MAGA supporters, you deny climate change so you get what you deserve. I mean, she's since then been fired, but it's horrific. But I think we need to address this again. Do you have any last thoughts, Don, before we close out here?
Well, no, I think people need to be careful with this, sticking with their politics, and combing over what the real problems are, right? Instead of sticking with the politics and, it's Trump's fault, this and that. You know what? Open up your eyes. What's going on? You know what I mean? Have a little care about the people that these bad things have impacted, right? whether you can donate or create some charitable, institution or whatever you can do for these people, rather than just the blame game. Yeah, see, it's Trump, or yeah, see, it's Biden.
They said
whoever.
He fired a lot of people, at the National Weather Service, so they didn't have enough time to warn the people and whatever, which is not true.
The reason I do, like, besides the fact that I know all this, I spend a lot of time in Wisconsin. When I'm out there, I got slides on and shorts. That's it. I don't wear a shirt ever. And so I'll be outside and I'll be hot, and then all of a sudden you get overheated. Then all of a sudden the wind comes and you're freezing cold and you're all over the board and you're like, how is this weather changing so fast? And it's changing fast because they're screwing around with this with the atmosphere. I'm telling you, it's been going on for years, but right now it's really bad how much they're doing, and I think that they're contaminating the air as well, and I think a lot of that's got to do with it too.
We'll definitely keep our eye on this, and we'll talk about it. I could tell everybody that in a future show we're going to talk about this alligator Alcatraz, which I'm dying to find out what Don thinks about that, and a bunch of other stuff that's going on in the news. I want to remind everybody to visit our website at straightupdonhanston.com. You could also email us at straightupdonhanston@gmail.com. Make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, iHeartRadio, and also Amazon Video. And don't forget to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit that like button and hit the bell so you're notified every time a new episode drops. And we will see you again real soon. Thanks for joining us from Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show.